Welcome to another Diverse Voices in Banking series here today with me. I am truly pleased to have Tony Nguyen, who is the Region Bank President for Wells Fargo here in Wisconsin. He's located over in Milwaukee. Thank you so much for joining me, Tony.
Thanks, Rose. Really appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah, look forward to our conversation. So you've now been with Wells for a total of 17 years. I know not all in Wisconsin, but certainly many in Wisconsin. And as a successful, respected banker, what do you really consider to be your greatest accomplishment so far?
Oh, you're so kind by asking that question, Rose. And that's a tough one to answer. There's so many things I'm proud of with regards to accomplishments. And certainly my family is probably my proudest accomplishment. I don't know if you consider that an accomplishment. Yeah, and I have three little ones and a beautiful wife, and they're amazing. But as I think about in the professional world, and my proudest accomplishment is one, this role. I've been with the company for 17 years, and I've been so fortunate for all the opportunities I've had. But this one has been my favorite because I get to have a direct impact on team members every single day. I get to have a direct impact on our community, and I get to see our team and the community flourish and grow. So that's one of my proudest accomplishments, being able to just sit back and actually not just sit back, but participate, be actively involved in all the things that positively impact our team and our community.
And that is very true. It is really rewarding to see other team members grow professionally and improve. And even if it means moving on to a different territory or region, it's very rewarding to have played a role in all of that. Well, and
Absolutely.
I know Wisconsin is your stop after Iowa, and we're just such a better state than Iowa anyway, right?
I can't answer that one, but I'll smile.
That's okay.
For sure.
Oh, no, that's fine. So, as you look at, obviously, I think you're certainly playing a key role as a role model for others within the Wells organization. But as you look back on your own career so far, who are your role models, either in or outside of the banking industry, doing work that you really see inspiring?
Yeah, so, this is a tough one to answer. I have so many role models. And I want to say personally, I'll start there first, if that's okay.
Sure.
My mother is my biggest role model. She, both parents are immigrants from Vietnam, fled the country during the war, and she raised three boys by herself when my father passed away, and I'm the oldest, and so she is my role model because she taught us about resiliency and grit and hard work. And, that's the person I look up to my whole life, and my brothers follow in suit. And so, personally, she's my role model. When I think about role models in the industry, there's a lot. It's hard to follow one person and say, they've had the greatest impact. I mean, most recently, I would say, and I know this is outside of the financial industry, but Bruce Lee, growing up as an Asian American, was one of our role models, one of my role models. And most recently, I know there's been a lot of documentaries on Bruce Lee, and he talks about be water. And it's so inspiring to me because, you wonder when people say, what does be water mean? And he talks about water, if you put it in a cup, it becomes the cup. He talks about how water adapts to the cup. And it's our industry right now, as you think about the ever evolving, the evolution really of our industry. And you have to be able to adapt. And so that one hits home to me when I think about role models. And there's so many, like I said, everywhere from the activism that's happening in our communities today to even those within the places that we worship. And so I would say Bruce is one of those that I connect to recently, but there's so many that are inspiring. Community leaders as well. I'm involved in 5 different nonprofit boards, on 4 in a part of an advisory board. And the leaders of those nonprofits, especially through these pandemics, are just phenomenal. Their leadership is amazing when we need them most.
Yeah. Well, both of those are really inspiring role models, and I can only imagine the strength and resiliency your parents had to be able to even leave Vietnam and come here. So it's really a testament to them, and very fortunate for you and your brothers to be able to grow up in the United States here as well.
Yeah.
So as you look
Thank
and,
you.
really you mentioned Bruce Lee as someone you look up to in part because he's Asian American. And I think, as bankers, we hear that quite a bit, right, from our communities that we want to reflect our communities and people in the community want to do business with someone that they can really relate to. So, as you look at the banking industry, what advice would you have or what do you consider to really be important for the banking industry to understand as we try to really grow our services to persons of color?
Yeah, and that's such a great question, especially during this time and forever,
Yeah.
is that we really do need to mirror the communities we serve. And as I think about the banking industry, what does that look like? And I think that is, our initiatives around diversity, equity, and inclusion. Do we have strong affinity groups within our companies and our banks to be able to support the learning, the inclusive culture that we're trying to create, and really be able to seek that diverse thought? And so affinity groups are a way to do it. We call them team member networks at Wells Fargo. And I'm proud to say that if you were to look at our leadership team here in Wisconsin, every one of my leaders are part of our team member networks. In fact, they lead them. Everything
Wow.
from diverse abilities to our Pride team member network, to our women's TMN. So it starts there. And so I think that, the ability to have the resources at our team members' fingertips to be able to learn, to seek an inclusive environment, to learn more about other cultures. I think that's an absolutely critical piece of our business. And by the way, because of resources like that, you attract that type of talent too, diverse talent.
Exactly.
And like we talked about, I think that's such an important factor in how we grow our business in the future, being able to reach those segments. The
Yeah.
other I would say is hiring diverse talent, taking those risks where there are risks, because, I'm one of them. And I don't know if it was a big risk. Probably for me, yeah, for those who took the risk on me. But we can give back so much, and it's not just our cultures that we bring into play. It's our different way of thinking, the diverse thought, as I'd mentioned, the work ethic. And so there's so much at play there, but we do have to make the effort to seek diverse talent. And I think that's a critical part of next steps when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah, no, great advice. I think you're right. Having some type of an established affinity group within the organization, and then that only naturally helps attract more diverse talent as well. So great points all the way around, Tony. Well, thank you so much again for all that you're doing for Wisconsin banking industry, for certainly for Wells Fargo in the state, and your support of the association. I appreciate it all very much. And thank you again for your time and doing this interview with us. It's very insightful advice.
Rose, thank you.